Hello everybody and welcome back to the Empire Let's Plays series. I am over here doing some smelting of cobblestone, turning it into regular stone. Set up a little bit of a contraption here so I could load it up and let it go, because we're going to need a lot of that in the road that we're building. And I realize I really wish we kind of had silk touch. But as you may or may not remember, when we started this world, we turned on something called the Villager Trade Rebalance experiment. And what that means is specific villages will give you specific types of books. So for example, we need to find a village in a swamp, and then we will be able to get mending books. Now you can find mending books in other ways. You know, they're in ancient cities and things like that. But as far as a consistent trade, each type of village will trade specific books. So for example, like Silk Touch, we need to find a snowy village in order to get that book from the librarian. So that's kind of something that's been on my mind. I also got so many comments. Lots of great thoughts, lots of great ideas. So last episode, you might remember we went poking around over here in the jungle and then got over here to the desert. And then way down here is where the desert village is. And I got a comment that said, you know, the simplest way to get over there would probably be just to build a road along the coast. And that is absolutely true, except for this Villager Trade Rebalance situation. Because while it would be absolutely more straightforward to go in this direction, I want to dip into the jungle so that we can build a jungle village, because we need to get the trades that they offer. Plus, it would just be super cool to build a jungle village. I was wrestling with whether or not we should go all the way up here above these mountains in the more dense jungle, or if we should just cut across here. And I got a comment that said it's way more interesting up here, and they are absolutely right. If we just build on flat land all the time, it's going to be a really boring road. So what we are going to do is we are going to come from the Southland down here. We're going to build a bridge across this river. And then we're going to take a road up here through the jungle. Right here is where we're going to come across, and we're going to build a little diagonal bridge that'll bring us over here to the desert. And then I got another really great suggestion, which was, instead of just building another bridge across this kind of weird shallow water, why not just build a couple of docks with some boats, and we could just boat back and forth. And I think that's a really cool idea, and we will definitely do that. I also got another really great suggestion that we should build an underwater village. And we definitely are not going to tackle that anytime soon, because we've already got a lot of work we need to do, but it would be awesome somewhere down here to build a village underwater, see if we can get villagers down there. Maybe we could do tunnels or something to create spaces where they can walk around. I don't know what they're going to do, because it's not really a biome that they're normally in, so I don't know if they're going to trade or sleep or what, but I think it'll be a fun experiment. So today, what I want to do is I want to spend more time on the road from here to our mining village. And I've done a tiny bit of preparation, and I have some pretty interesting ideas I want to share with you all. And just a couple other thoughts. One is I would like to make a brush so that if we do run across suspicious sand or suspicious gravel, we can investigate that. And I'm going to take all of this armadillo scute with us, so the dogs that we have back in the mining village, we can put some armor on them as well. So let's head back up this way, and let me show you some of the work and preparation that I've done. So the road comes up here. Like I said, we're going to do some terraforming and some decorating in here. And we did some work on this end, bringing it up this way. And I put a bunch of cobblestone here to kind of frame out where we're going to build this road. So it's going to come along like this, and then we'll probably cut into this hill here. Did a little bit of terraforming down here to start kind of sealing up this chasm that was down here. I ran out of dirt, but you can see some of the work I've done. And I want this to, it'll go all the way down to the ground. It won't be a bridge, it'll be more like a highway. So just kind of an elevated road. And then it will probably cut into this a little bit. This hill is kind of weird and narrow. So you'll see up here, it doesn't kind of go all the way through. So, oh, hello. Nice. So like I was saying, we'll probably cut this little weird hill down a little bit, bring the road through here towards our mining village. And as we start to approach the mining village, you're going to see something pop into view here. We're going to bring the road along like this. And yeah, you can see this big, tall pillar of cobble over here. I imagined initially we were going to bring the road way over, but I think we're just going to cut across here. We're going to bring it down kind of this natural curve here. That means that we are going to need to seal up some of these weird caves and things. And then we're going to bring the road in from this side. And then we got this big old pillar behind us. So right now we have an iron farm in here, and I actually sealed up the wall between the villagers and the zombie, so it is not producing any iron currently. What I want to do is I want to move the villagers and move the zombie up there. And the reason is these folks in here need to be a certain distance from the ground and from other villagers to function properly. If the other villagers are too close, we'll start spawning iron golems on the ground. If the ground is too close, the iron golems will just come down here rather than where they're supposed to. And since we're going to rebuild this village, there will be some buildings down here. So I don't want the golems spawning on top of the buildings. So we're going to have to move this farm way up into the sky. It'll be a little bit of a tower, and then we will surround the tower with smaller buildings that'll have farmers and things like that. And then we can plant some different fields of crops. We can do a pumpkin farm and some other things over here to turn this back into a kind of functional space. One other thing I did between episodes is I grabbed another donkey. I realized I could just take a saddle with me, and then when I got way, way over there, just tame the donkey and ride it back rather than using a lead. And that worked way better. But I need another lead in order to make sure the donkey doesn't run away. So that's why I have him all surrounded with cobble, is I just don't have enough string to make more leads yet. But anyway, we've got some materials over here, not a ton. I have been collecting some materials in the trial chamber, as far as like tough bricks and things like that. I don't know if this donkey has any of them, but the other donkey does have some materials as well. And I think one thing I want to do while we're constructing the road is this portion here. I think instead of coming down the hill and seeing how that goes, I want to start down here and work the road up, because as we discovered, it climbs at a very slow pace. And so again, it's probably going to cut into this hill. If I try to start at the top of the hill, we're going to end up with our road coming way out here potentially. So yeah, we'll build the road on this end and we'll work on the road on the other end and try and make them kind of meet in the middle. And as you saw earlier, I don't have a ton of stone, so I don't know that we can finish the road, but I kind of want to see if we can get it at least sketched out or mapped out. And then, you know, the stone in the center parts of the road, we can always fill that in later. And it's raining. one was a little bit more tricky than over by the savannah. I knew I wanted it to curve, and I knew it had to rise up a certain number of blocks, but I just couldn't get my head around the math. So I just sort of did it organically, and it turned out okay. I've done a little bit of massaging, a little bit of terraforming, but obviously the middle of the path is still missing here. So we're going to come up straight on the center of our iron farm. And then it just makes a little bit of a curve up the hill, like so. Cuts a little bit into the hillside. And then once we get to the top, starts to jog over towards the savannah. So once we get here, we're then gonna make our way over to that pillar and connect it up. One thing I'm doing is I'm trying to terraform as I go. So as I pull dirt out, I then kind of stack it up over on the side to make things look a little more even and flat. And you'll notice I planted a couple of trees. We'll definitely do a little bit more of that. Even though this is sort of a wild area, I still want it to look nice. So we'll do more trees and a little bit of landscaping and things like that to make it look nice and interesting. So this little trail here is going to come along towards that pillar there. And then this pillar will pivot ever so slightly this direction. And then from here, I think it's going to start descending. So it'll kind of cut through all of this hill and we'll connect up with the bridge. That is the plan. And then, like I said, the bridge is going to be more of a highway. So we will build some sort of support underneath, then put in the road top. Then we will have a connection to the mining village. To wrap up today, I want to see if we can get this iron farm moved up there. And I'm realizing as I start to tackle all of these projects, we're going to need a lot of stone, and it is really hard to come by right now. Because what I have to do is I have to mine cobble, and then I have to smelt it, which means I need to come up with coal as well. And so, yeah, we need to come up with a way of getting stone, because this road is going to take a ton of it. And this here, if we move that up there, I kind of want to turn this into a building, which is going to involve some stone. So yeah, we'll have to kind of figure out what we're going to do about that sooner than later. But like I said, let's see if we can get this iron farm moved up higher. Well, somehow that worked. I got the villagers and the zombie all the way up there just using a little staircase, and that worked out way better than I thought it was going to. And then halfway through I realized I didn't need to move the grinder, I just needed to move the flushing system because the golems will still fall all the way down here. And eventually we will turn this into some sort of building. It'll all kind of make sense. Right now it's just sort of a weird floating box above this little platform. And my plan is still inside the building to have a little collection area and a storage room where we can go in and get iron when we want it. But I think this is going to help us out as far as rebuilding this village. And I think that's where I'm going to wrap this one up. If you want to be like these folks and help support the channel, click join down below. Memberships start at 99 cents and it really helps me out. And thanks for watching. I hope you had fun. Please like and subscribe if you want to follow along on the adventure, and I hope to see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.